This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Cardano. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe on a birthday boy. I almost said on this day. Why did I say that? I already did one. So anyway, that's him, Shaq Daddy. Shaquille O'Neal he's not 50 yet. I'm surprised. I thought he would be 50, but he's now 49. He was born March 6, 1972 in Newark, New Jersey. He's an analyst for NBA on TNT, played for 6 teams over his 19-year career. He was 7'1", 325 pounds. He played for the LSU Tigers in college basketball, and then Shaq was drafted first overall by the Orlando Magic in the '92 NBA draft. Won Rookie of the Year and led his team to the '95 NBA Finals in Orlando. After 4 years with Orlando, he decided to sign with the LA Lakers, where he won 3 straight titles. Unfortunately, there was tension between Shaq and Kobe. Shaq went to the Heat in 2004 and got a title in 2006. He was then traded to the Phoenix Suns, Cleveland, and Boston before retiring in 2011. Shaq's accolades include the 2000 MVP award, the 93 NBA Rookie of the Year, 15 All-Star Game selections, 3 All-Star Game MVP awards, 3 Finals MVP awards, 2 scoring titles, and 3 NBA All-Defensive Team selections. He's one of only 3 players to win NBA MVP, All-Star Game MVP, and Finals MVP in the same year. That'd be 2000. The others were Willis Reed and Michael Jordan. Willis Reed won All-Star Game MVP. He's 8th in points, 6th in field goals, 15th in rebounds, and 8th in blocks. And because he could score from close range, O'Neal is 3rd all-time in field goal percentage with 58%. He was elected to the Hall of Fame in 2016. And he has released 4 rap albums. His first went platinum, which is amazing. So yeah. So great career. Shaq is amazing and all that. People don't know, but Shaq's father, who was Philip A. Harrison, who was a career Army sergeant, wasn't actually Shaq's biological dad. His biological dad had a basketball scholarship at Seton Hall, but he had drug addiction and was in prison for drug possession. He actually decided to relinquish his parental rights to O'Neal's stepfather, which was Philip Harrison, the career Army sergeant. O'Neal was estranged from his biological father for decades. All that. So yeah, but here's the weird thing. O'Neal came from a tall family. His biological father was 6'1" and his mother was 6'2". And by the age of 13, Shaq was 6'6". Because of his stepfather's career in the military, the family left Newark, New Jersey, moving to military bases. Shaq's family settled in San Antonio, Texas, after returning from Germany, and Shaq was 6'10" by the time he was 16 years old, and helped the team help his school win state title in Texas. He could make hook shots. So Shaq decided to wear 32 because his high school team didn't have a number 33 jersey. I remember reading the Shaquille O'Neal biography about his first season in the NBA and all that. And he actually talked to his future college coach, Dale Brown, at LSU, and basically wanted to know some fitness regimens. And basically, Dale Brown says, what class are you in the Army, Sergeant? A soldier? Says, I'm not a soldier, I'm a teenage boy. So anyway, at college, O'Neal would study business at LSU, which is a pretty good school. I mean, the home of Pistol Pete Maravich and Bob Pettit. As I said, he met Dale Brown a few years ago in Europe when his stepfather was stationed in West Germany. Shaq was a 2-time All-American while playing for Brown, 2-time SEC Player of the Year, and was the NCAA Men's Player of the Year in 1991, which was amazing. He was also named College Player of the Year by AP and UPI. SHAQ played 3 years with LSU. They didn't really do that well in the college basketball tournament, but basically, he decided to continue his education after he was a pro player, which is pretty amazing. All that. Well, Orlando basically had the #1 pick, and they were a young team. This was after their 3rd season in the NBA, because they're an expansion team. Orlando got their guy. SHAQ would wear 32, but only because Terry Catledge refused to relinquish his number 33, which is fine and dandy, I guess. SHAQ was actually Player of the Week in the NBA his first full week. In his rookie season, he got 23 points a game on 56% shooting, 13.9 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks a game, which is pretty impressive. He was obviously Rookie of the Year. Who else could have touched him? He was the first rookie to be voted an All-Star MVP, All-Star starter, since MJ in '85. The Magic were 41-41. Sadly, though, the Magic lost on a tiebreak to Indiana and missed the playoffs in his first year. Unfortunately, rumors were circulating that SHAQ didn't like Matt Guokas as head coach and wanted Brian Hill. But he kind of got his wish, as Hill was made coach in O'Neal's 2nd season. And O'Neal improved his scoring average to 29.4 a game, which was 2nd behind David Robinson. Amazing. He led in field goal percentage. He actually ended up with a triple-double November '93 against the Nets with 24 points, 28 rebounds, and 15 blocks. Remember what I said about, if you remember Draymond Green's stuff a couple of days ago, I said that there are 5 categories that you can have triple-double in: points, assists, blocks, rebounds, and steals. Any 3 of those 5 could have 10 points, even if you don't get 10 points. So anyway, he was All-NBA 3rd team in his 2nd year, teaming with newly drafted Penny Hardaway, which I know Mr. Doubter said that he'll interrupt me only once per day, if possible. Penny Hardaway was not drafted by the Orlando Magic. He was drafted by the Warriors for 3rd overall. Orlando picked Chris Webber 1st overall in the draft, but traded him to Golden State for Penny Hardaway. I guess they didn't have room for Webber. So anyway, the Magic were 50-32 and made the playoffs. SHAQ did very well for himself, but the Pacers swept the Magic in the 1st round. His 3rd season would be his best season in Orlando. He led the NBA in scoring with 29.3 a game, 2nd in MVP to David Robinson, and got to his 3rd straight All-Star game. He and Hardaway were one of the best duos and got Orlando a 57-win season and a division title. Orlando took care of the Boston Celtics 1st round in '95, which was the first time Orlando won a playoff series. And then they took on the Chicago Bulls, despite Michael Jordan coming back from baseball and all that. It was amazing. But, MJ was not in form, and then sadly, though, MJ would win 3 straight titles. After beating the Indiana Pacers in the conference finals, Orlando went to the finals against Houston. If it wasn't for Nick Anderson's free throw mistakes, the Magic would have won Game 1 and maybe had the momentum. But Houston swept them in 4 straight games, because Houston kind of had Olajuwon and Drexler, who both were actually teammates for the University of Houston. Bet you didn't know that. SHAQ, unfortunately, was injured, and it showed. He did make the All-NBA 3rd team, though. Orlando actually was 60-22 despite SHAQ being hurt, 2nd in the Eastern Conference. But, of course, the Bulls won 72 games. Orlando got to the conference finals, but the Bulls swept them in the finals. SHAQ was a free agent. But before that, he was actually part of the U.S. Olympic basketball team in '96 that won the title in Atlanta. It's amazing. A lot of people said that SHAQ is not worth a lot of money, all that, after his rookie contract was done. But weirdly enough, on the first full day of the basketball team meeting in Atlanta, SHAQ signed a 7-year, $121 million deal with the LA Lakers. He said he didn't choose LA for the money. He just wants to play the game, drink Pepsi, and wear Reebok, which was a couple of his product endorsements. The Lakers won 56 games in the '97 season. However, SHAQ got hurt again, and the Lakers could only go to the second round before losing to the Jazz. But anyway, yeah, the Lakers looked good in the 98 playoffs, getting to the conference finals, but sadly, though, Utah swept them on their way to their second straight finals appearance. There was some expectations with Kobe being a star in the making with Shaq. Everything happened, but personnel changes were a source of instability. Nick Van Exel was traded to Denver. Eddie Jones was traded for Glenn Rice because Shaq needed a shooter. Del Harris, the coach, got fired, and then Kurt Rambis became head coach. The Lakers would be swept in the second round by the San Antonio Spurs, who went on to win the title. The Lakers got Phil Jackson as head coach, and Jackson challenged O'Neal, saying that the NBA's MVP trophy should be named after you when you retire. And Shaq basically took him to it. He was close to being the first unanimous MVP in NBA history, but a CNN reporter got Allen Iverson and all that. He would win the scoring title in 2000. Shaq was fantastic and all that. He won 3 straight NBA titles. That's hard to do in this day and age. Not even the Warriors have done that, or the Heat have done that. You know, the LeBron and the Steph Curry stuff. O'Neal actually had a surgery for a claw toe deformity in the smallest toe of his left foot. He had some toe problems and all that. But Shaq got them to through the 3 straight titles with the triangle offense and was named Finals MVP all 3 times. Unfortunately, he had arthritis in his toe, and basically he had to miss time. The Lakers would start terribly because of that, and the Lakers ended up being 5th place and failed to reach the finals plus 3. In 2004, the Lakers decided to get a better improvement for their roster. They got Karl Malone and Gary Payton, but could only give them so much money under the salary cap. There was, of course, a lot of issues with that 2004 team, especially with Kobe being accused of sexual misconduct against someone in Colorado. Thankfully, though, Kobe would be found not guilty as the prosecution, as the women didn't really testify. Screwed up. Unfortunately, Shaq and Kobe couldn't get along with each other, so Shaq was traded in 2004 to Miami for Caron Butler, Lamar Odom, Brian Grant, and a first-round pick, which was Jordan Farmar. The Lakers didn't really get a lot for it. Even Odom would not do that well in the Lakers. O'Neal would change from 34 with the Lakers, 34 being the Lakers. Obviously, he couldn't wear 32 or 33 because 32 was Magic's number and 33 was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's number. So he changed 32. O'Neal promised the fans he would bring the championship to Miami. And he liked Miami because Dwayne Wade was an up-and-coming star. The Heat were the best team in the Eastern Conference in 2005 with 59 wins. Unfortunately, Shaq and the Heat would miss out by a small margin to the Detroit Pistons, despite Detroit being part of the Mouse at the Palace, that big brawl in 2004. They got to the NBA Finals. Although the punishments were basically on Indiana because Artest was out for the rest of the year. O'Neal made the All-NBA team, won the Eastern Conference Player of the Year for March, and almost won the MVP award, losing to Steve Nash. Shaq signed a 5-year extension in 2005 for $100 million. All that. Shaq did not like Stan Van Gundy because Van Gundy could not call plays for Shaq. Pat Riley became the head coach, and basically Shaq liked it and all that. And he won his 4th NBA title in 2006, which was great, even though Dallas had a 2-0 series lead. Unfortunately, injuries would hurt Shaq in the 06-07 season. basically, Miami, try as they might, did okay. So Miami went to the first round against the Chicago Bulls and shockingly got swept by the Bulls. It was the first time in 50 years a defending NBA champion got swept in the first round. Wow. And it was the first time in 13 years that Shaq didn't advance to the second round while being in the playoffs. Unfortunately, 2008, there was a lot of problems. All that. Miami looked bad and all that. And basically, Shaq got himself in trouble with Pat Riley. So the Suns needed someone like Shaq. Miami was the worst team in the league at that time. So the Suns gave up Sean Marion and Marcus Banks for Shaq. Shaq was respectable, but unfortunately they lost in the first round to the Spurs. Shaq would become a very good player, all that. Unfortunately, though, Shaq couldn't be in the 2009 NBA Finals playoffs as the Suns didn't even make it. That was only the second time Shaq missed the playoffs as an active player. Then, in June 2009, he was traded to Cleveland for Sasha Pavlich, Ben Wallace, who was a nuisance with Detroit, money, and a second-round draft pick. So, Ben Wallace went to Phoenix? Shaq says his motto is very simple. Win a ring for the king, as in Shaq, as in LeBron. Unfortunately, he got an injured thumb and basically couldn't do it anymore. So Cleveland gave him up and all that. Boston decided to sign him to a 2-year deal for the federal minimum salary for $2.8 million. He chose number 36 for the Celtics. That's kind of weird. Shaq tried his best, but unfortunately he didn't really have a lot of minutes. So basically Shaq retired. Shaq did okay for the U.S. team. He was part of the 1994 U.S. team that went to the World Championships that were supposed to be in Yugoslavia, but because of their war, Toronto ended up getting the championship. It was amazing to see the World Championships come to Canada for basketball just before the Raptors came into the league. And he did good, as the Americans didn't lose one freaking game in that tournament. So anyway, he is a very fantastic player and all that. He's more known for his media outlets and all that, which is amazing. He had a few legal issues and all that. Well, his education was good. He left he left the LSU after 3 years in the NBA, but he promised his mother he would return to his studies and get his bachelor's degree. And he got his bachelor's degree in general studies and a minor in poli-sci in 2000, which was pretty good. All that. Shaq actually got an online MBA degree from the University of Phoenix in 2005. He was even made a reserve officer in Miami, which was funny, and was sworn as a sheriff's deputy in Georgia. That's kind of funny. He had a good music career and all that. It's not bad. He did some acting with Blue Chips and Kassam. Basically, there were films that were panned by a lot of critics. All that. He's been on a lot of covers of video games, was on TV for a while. You know, Shaq would be part of TNT just after his 2011 retirement. He actually appeared in pro wrestling for a while. He was actually the special enforcer in '94 at Bash at the Beach in Orlando when Hulk Hogan met Ric Flair, which was the Battle of the Ages, which finally would see Hogan and Flair fight each other. Hulk won that match. Shaq would get into altercations with the Big Show a couple times, which is amazing. So yeah, Shaq and Big Show had some fights and all that. a lot of business ventures because he liked General Electric, Apple, and Pepsi, and Reebok. Basically, you know, his advertisements and all that. His personal life, he was raised by a Baptist mother and a Muslim stepfather. And SHAQ has been identified as a Muslim. But SHAQ says, I'm Muslim, Jewish, Buddhist, I'm everybody because I'm a people person. He married Shawnee Nelson, December 2002, and had 4 children, Sharif, Amira, Shakir, and Mariah. But SHAQ filed for divorce in December 2007. However, the divorce was withdrawn because the couple got back together. But 2009, basically, Shawnee said that it was irreconcilable differences. Sharif was supposed to play for the University of Arizona, but because of recruiting violations, he couldn't play for them. Since 2014, he's actually dated a model by the name of Letitia Role. Amazing. SHAQ actually is a fan of the New Jersey Devils. Fuck! Has been to several Devils games. Well, his hometown is Newark and all that. It's funny. SHAQ even dropped the ceremony first puck. Okay, he's a Devils fan. So anyway, he played 1,207 regular season games with 23.7 points a game, 2 assists per game. Well, he's not a passer, and 10.9 rebounds a game, which is good. Playoffs, he won 4 titles. In his career, 216 games played, 24 points per game, and 11.6 rebounds a game. It's funny seeing him. He was in a few TV things and all that. He was in The Simpsons for Gone Boy. What was this one about? But he was in The Simpsons. I didn't know that. He was in the Cleveland Show for a while. He was nominated for 3 Golden Raspberries, Blue Chips for Worst New Star, Steel for Worst Actor, and Blended for Worst Supporting Actor. But thankfully, he didn't win any of them. So that's funny. Well, Gone Boy, yeah, it's when Bart falls down the manhole and Sideshow Bob wants to destroy him and all that. So yeah. All right, so SHAQ is an icon, and he should forever be an icon. I'm Jeff Diamond. Ado.